Vinny the dog is another of our rescues. My husband and I adopted him in 2013 as a 6-month-old puppy. He was one of the animals at the rescue shelter who had been there the longest. We took him for a walk while we were there, and he was squirmy when we tried to put the leash on him, and he kept giving us the side eye. That's actually when we fell in love. Those little beady eyes stole our hearts. Vinny is the most loyal dog I've personally ever known. He sits by me as I work during the day, and he always wants to be in the same room. He's super tolerant of our rescue cats, too. And of course, while I started this recording, he had to leave the room. This boy has been all over the US with us on road trips. He loves being with his mama and papa, and he will protect us fiercely. He's one of my best friends ever. Vinny loves the outdoors. He's always up for a hike. Now that he's getting up in years, his arthritis holds him back just a bit, but only a little bit. He can no longer do an all-day hike, but he's good to go for a couple hours on the trail. I snapped this photo one summer morning when I was hiking with Vinny and my husband. It was hot and humid. Vinny had found a mildly shady spot to rest and drink some water. That sweet photo I snapped inspired the painting. At first, I imagined Vinny as a wise older man who looked like he could sit on a porch and have a drink of liquor. I added glasses and a hat for effect to the preliminary drawing that I did. I like to create a drawing of the subject I'm going to do as a painting because I can explore ideas of what I might like to do on the canvas. I created a rough similar image using charcoal on canvas next. This would help me to get the proportions correct. I started to not be so sure I wanted to create the glasses, and at this stage I opted to take the hat out. I liked the way the light was hitting Vinny's head in the picture, and I wanted to highlight those color values in the painting. By the time I started on the background, I knew I wasn't going to include the hat and glasses at all. Perhaps in a future painting. For now, I liked the green background, and Vinny was sitting in a grassy spot in the woods. The green would be a nice complement to Vinny's pink tongue. Pink and green are opposite colors on the coloring wheel, and so putting them together meant that I would have some striking contrast. Creating the gradations of color to show the bright light reflecting on Vinny's head, that was an early challenge. The white part of his fur on his chest was actually still a brighter value than the bright light or the bright part on Vinny's head. And that's fine. I ended up treating those early colors on his head as a good underpainting foundation. I toned down the color values on this sweet boy's head, and it came together really nicely when I did that. I also created more layers of color all over the painting. It takes a while to get the layers of color just right. You need the right mix of slow dry medium, water, good angular paintbrush loaded with the right amount of paint to create those stronger blocks of color. And now that I had all the basic foundational colors filled in, I could start working on more detail. In this stage, I continued to work on Vinny's head, nose, eyelids, arms, chest, and tongue. As I worked, I was also looking at the proportions and making sure everything lined up just so. I discovered that Vinny's right arm wasn't quite where it needed to be. At this stage, I moved Vinny's arm over and started working on more detail. I also filled out more color values and detail on his head, collar, and chest. I also put more details on his teeth and tongue. His eyes got treatment with their beautiful brown, and now it was time to focus on the background. I added more layers of green to make the whole background more solid. I knew that I wanted to give a general value-infused impression that Vinny was in a grassy field. However, too many details in the background can detract from the foreground and the subject of the painting. So I just added a few details to suggest grass and leaves, but otherwise I left everything pretty simple. To finalize the piece, I added more leaves and lines to tie everything together. I really looked at the balance of the leaves and grass all over the painting. I was careful to use the same exact color values for Vinny's green collar. The shadows and highlights are the same as the leaves and grass, so it ties everything together. Let me grab this piece. So this sweet piece is entitled Sweet Boy. It's acrylic on canvas. It is 20 inches high, 16 inches wide, and it's about maybe 5/8 of an inch thick. I completed it in the year 2022, The price on it is $5.40, including shipping and tax. And if you are ready to purchase this beautiful painting, just head over to artfunky.com. You can also purchase merchandise like acrylic prints, puzzles, mugs, iPhone cases, shower curtains, leggings, wrapping paper, notebooks, and more. I like to put his image on lots of fun things. Don't tell my relatives that that's what they're getting at Christmas. Shh. But yes, you can have this beautiful image on many different products. Here's looking at you, dog lovers.